Right. Hey guys, welcome to another stream. I've got a few things to talk about. What have we got? I was just looking at the a Team 18 PowerPoint presentation because we're talking about how Team 18 are doing such a good job this year, but in reality, you have a look at the number of top 10s they've got versus what they usually get. It's about normal, really. Team 18, usually they're like a 50% team. They get like 50% of the top 10s that are up and that are available. They go from one year to the next and get about 50% every year. It looks impressive because he's been running closer to the front and has clawed himself into the top 10, and maybe had a few more top 5s than you'd otherwise think. We go driver ups and downs. Where is it? 2025 ups and downs. There. And there's actually an article that's just come out on Supercars website where they're showing, look how many points such and such got. Look how well they're doing. How far they clawed in the points. And I think I've said it before. I've said it. I think I've said it before when I said that Anton De Pasquale. Hang on, am I showing the right thing? Hang on, I'll make sure I'm showing the right thing. Yeah, the driver ups and downs. Yeah, so we've got Anton here, typically in the top 10 in terms of round points. And then you've got two bad rounds, Taupo and Tassie. Three bad rounds, Taupo, Tassie, and Perth, where he did have top 10 pace at some stage, but like even especially at Taupo, top 10 pace, but not the race pace or just having issues. But then from Darwin onwards, they tidied it back up and it was fine again. So that's the way I see Anton's year. It's an exception in the same way as Ryan Wood. Ryan Wood didn't have a great first round, but he has that top 10 capability, so he should be in the top 10. A couple bad rounds. Perth wasn't a bad round, but it was a one where he wasn't able to capitalize on his speed and get really good points. And they went to Darwin, where they had the engine failure in the first one, and even though he got top 10s in the next two races, he wasn't quite close enough to compensate for that first race. And then screwed it up in the third race there. Chaz is consistently... Oh, hang on. He's got a car... Was that 3 rounds where he's outside the top 10 there? Bad round at Tassie, bad round at Albert Park. Well, 12th in the round, but bad Darwin, and then really good at Townsville and pretty good at Queensland apart from that first one, which I still haven't written all my information in. I might try and do that this week. We'll see what's possible. And what I'll be able to do. So yeah, I've got Anton there. Now this is the round order from Ipswich. So you got Kai Allen here, who they're like, oh wow, he's been clawing back all these points from Perth onwards. It's like, yeah, he has, and he's still not in the top 10, but we have this expectation that he's going to be able to do it at the Bend. He's got Dale Wood, and Dale Wood's going to be a pretty solid co-driver. And but there's a lot that's going to be happening. Look at how he's qualifying. He's not qualifying exceptionally well. Like 11th, 16th, and 9th, 8th, 17th, 22nd. He had, well, arguably his average qualifying QR was bad. In those Now, I think Townsville, they had all the same tyres, all 3 races, but Queensland, I think Darwin, Perth, Tassie, Taupo were all soft tyre races, or soft, super soft races. So some of these races, what they say, they did well in Darwin in that second one, so they had things worked out for that. Sort of interesting what teams are actually able to capitalize on it and what teams aren't. But it looks like they're pretty much as good each time. They don't really struggle too much. Cameron Waters, how do they go on the super soft? I think the second race at SMP was a super soft one. I think that's what it was. But the one at Taupo there, not very good. Second, Tassie, Perth, Darwin. But then, Darwin, I watched a little bit, I think this morning, talking about how well, when we talk about parity, we talk about is the forward slower in a straight line, because we hear so much of that, people trying to say, the forward needs a leg up. And I'm not convinced that it actually needs it, right? In 2023, yes, it definitely needed it, because the Fords were qualifying in the top 10 and then dropping positions. They're not dropping positions these days. They're just doing something wrong in the races. I know we expect Cam Waters to be battling for the championship, but we've also had years like 2021 where they were fifth and they were just not quite that good. And 2022, they were very good. 2023, they were very good. 24, I think, had issues at the start, terrible start to the season, and then they were later able to win races. But Tickford are just not able to deliver that year in, year out. But he's been very solid all year long. Like, even they went to QR and he rescued a really bad run there. Thomas Randall, how did he go in the points? Way down the order, 15th. He just has not been doing top 10 points, round points for most of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's just been getting, like, he'll get like a top 10 every round. Darwin wasn't great. He got 1 at Townsville in that third one, 1 at QR. But it's just too far away from it. And having issues all the time doesn't help. Oh, goody. So, yeah, it's not great for Thomas Randall. So, what else we got? If we look at, let's just look at the Ford drivers, right? Now, DJR is a case in itself. DJR is a team on the rebuild. Their only bad round was Tassie. See, Tassie, 56 points, arguably because of that disqualification, and then the really bad and the getting put in the wall in the third race. So that screwed up his time, because he only got good points in that second race at Tassie. So in terms of forwards, he's actually doing quite decently there. And it's not like they're dropping spots every single race. He's actually going up in quite a few of them, down in some, up in others. It's not like, you go to Darwin and we look at, starts 5th down to 9th. 5th stays 5th, 12th up to 11th. You got Cameron Waters, Darwin. He's dropping spots in all those races. I think Chaz Monster didn't have a particularly good Darwin either, but he caught up a lot of spots, up to 6th in that first one. And who was the Matt Payne stayed 3rd. Right, that's as good. You could say that's as good as the Ford was going to be. I think Anton came 2nd in that first. No, hang on, he came 2nd in the. Who came? Waters was 2nd in the first one. In the first race at Darwin. So this whole argument that the Ford's really bad. I think they said something like the Ford's slower in a straight line behind other cars. Well, of course it is because it's getting all that heat and it's overheating the car, overheating the tires. It's not great to be behind other cars. And also we've heard that the Premier cars were fast in a straight line. So I'm not sure where that argument is coming from. This idea that they're just not fast enough when you've got quite a few Fords are on the podium, not very many Chevs are on the podium. Will Brown didn't get one, and he's in a Triple Eight car. Anton got on the podium in one of them. So we got Brock Feeney won every single race in that one. Anton got on the podium once. And I don't think we saw another Chev on the podium at all at Darwin. So the argument is that Darwin is a track where Chevs dominate. But it's difficult to argue that case because what if all the Chev teams did a bad job that weekend and that's why the Fords were up there? But it doesn't seem to really be the case. Anton didn't make any mistakes, had a solid weekend. Nothing went wrong for any of these other things, but I don't have every note under the sun for all of that. I'm just writing down for the big things. Chaz went from last to 12th in that last one there. So Chaz actually had quite good race pace. Ryan Wood actually had good race pace too to get into the top 10. And so if you think, if the Fords are so slow in a straight line at Darwin, how were they able to make up that speed? How were they able to make up the difference? Maybe it's just a minuscule difference. Or maybe their cars are better set up in the wiggle section from turn 1 all the way through back to the straight. So yeah, it's I think it's a lot of it's a bit silly. They're trying really hard to pull the wool all over everyone's eyes and say that the Fords are disadvantaged. The only track where we're worried about it is Bathurst, and because of the what do you call it? The atmospheric pressure of Bathurst because of how high the track is, how high up the mountain you go. That's the theory. So, and the fastest Ford at Bathurst last year was Matt Payne's car, and he was running up like 4th or something, and then he stuck it in the fence, heading into the cutting. I don't think any other Fords were up there either, but I think that was about it. Cam Waters, we have to go to 2024. I'm gonna switch everything over. So I'll show the 2024 stuff, and we'll talk more about parity because we love to talk about it. They ran up the front second. Cam Waters just did not have a particularly good race at Bathurst. Just mistakes. Lock up at turn 1. Maybe lost some positions in the pits. And Moffat lost control of the skyline but regained it. It was a mistake, but I don't think he lost any spots. But, if the car was a bit on edge, maybe it wasn't quite set up right. Randall had speed at that track, but they couldn't convert it into qualifying speed. Mostert started 9th, moved up to 5th. You got Matt Payne there, 7th to DNF. Tander had a lock up at Murray's Corner. Double shift went in the fence of the cutting. That was Matt Payne there. Will Davison moved up quite a few spots. Anton was also in a Ford. He moved up a spot. Now, you got to think, okay, so because Matt Payne started 7th, so everyone back from Matt Payne goes up at least one spot. So for argument's sake, Anton didn't move up at all. He didn't actually gain a spot. inherited a position. Any other Ford drivers? Well, we got Ryan Wood here. I think Ryan Wood had his own issues at Bathurst. I think they put it in the fence. Side the fence, he had issues there. Brody drove a Chev. Richie. And he was running. Richie was running up fourth the whole race, and the team screwed up and underfueled him. James Courtney. What in the world are we looking at here? Okay, this is his teammate comparison here. So the highlights are how well, like Courtney beating Love. Moved up a couple of spots, probably because Matt Payne crashed out of one, and anybody else crash out? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Some people did drop spots, other people didn't. So we got Aaron Love there, dropped to 23rd, and Courtney went up a couple of spots there. So it's not like the Fords were slow and therefore they just dropped back because they're so slow. I don't think that's actually been the case, except for 2023. That's the only example that you can think of where the Fords have actually been properly slow. It's just sometimes the Fords are fast, sometimes they're slow. I think at Sydney Motorsport Park is one of those tracks where it wasn't a Ford track. Like Townsville was not a Ford track in 2023 either, because the Mustang used to blow the rear tires off. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of crap. This idea that the Fords are just slow in a straight line. People saying, "Oh, 2024 was such a boring race. There was no passing." What are you talking about? There was plenty of battling in the mid pack. People don't realize Bathurst is a long race, right? There isn't always a lot of action. It's not a sprint race. It goes for 6 hours. There's going to be a period of time where nothing's really happening for a while. People are just getting their laps done. Supercars racing is like that quite often. Not every race is a banger, and that's why we appreciate the banger races. So it's just a silly idea. And yeah, what else? We got, because I did talk about Team 18, so I want to just go over it again in case anyone missed it. I'll show that again. So, we talk about Team 18 to get the cheat codes. They are being given 888 setups from Jeremy Moore, and they're being given the special homologation parts that are making them run better. But in reality, they're having a pretty normal season for them. Anton is definitely seeming to get a bit more out of that car compared to previous Team 18 drivers, dragging it up into top 10s. But Frosty definitely has had plenty of seasons. Anton is definitely on a strong run. How many races is that? We've had 25 races. Okay, so I haven't factored in the next 3. I'm going to update that. So we turn that into 15 out of 25 top 10s. Now, Davey actually had a half decent round at Ipswich. 1 top 10. Whoopsies. Team 18 typically have a 50% year. And so Anton's done the first part of the year. He's racked up something like, what is it? He racked up, what was that? 6 top 10. No, so if we don't count the race that was abandoned at Albert Park, and obviously we don't, he had 7 top 10s in a row in the first 7 completed races. Then he didn't finish in the top 10 for the next 6. Much amidst a 3-round run of struggle. got one top 10 at Perth, and then in the middle of Darwin had front running pace, where he's now gone on to rack up another 8 top 10s. If he keeps that up, then he'll be doing better. But it's not like he's doing an exceptional job. It's not like he's got 20 top 10s, which is championship sort of deal. I don't have the numbers at present for how many top 10s everyone's got. We could quickly run something like that up. But I'm not gonna bother boring people with that sort of thing. My main point is that year on year, and I'll go through each season here. So you got Anton with 15 out of 25 top 10s, out of at this point in the year, and I think there's like 30 odd races this year or something. What do we got? Yeah, it looks like there's 34 races this year. So 15 out of 25, and we expect that he's going to rack up a couple more top 10s this year. So 15 out of 25. And so they're missing out on that extra 10. Last year, David Reynolds 10 out of 24. Right, that's a little under 50%. Mark Winterbottom 10 out of 28, 2023. Little under 50%. And then you've got Mark Winterbottom 2022, 16 out of 34. It's about half there as well. They're a 50% team. They typically have this sort of result. The difference here is obviously that, that people seem to have this idea that Team 18 are constantly nowhere, and that's not true at all. Team 18 are a strong team on their day. They are not consistent. They're not going to rock up and knock everyone off their feet and challenge for championships and battle for race wins and rack up multiple podiums. They're not in that position at the moment. And it makes no sense to me why people would think that, we've talked about this for years, that people who actually have a better understanding of how the Triple Eight relationship works between the customer teams and Triple Eight themselves, because Team 18 have Triple Eight cars. I think I said the opposite in the past. Team 18 built their own car. They did not. They got Triple Eight chassis and put Camaro parts on it themselves. That's what they did. So where are we going? I tripped over myself a little bit there. Give me a second. What do we got? Yeah, so Triple Eight, the Triple Eight Alliance, Triple Eight data sharing, where Brad Jones Racing drivers have talked about it, Premier have talked about it, like Ludo has actually come out and talked about it. Ludo specifically said, and I think Bryce Forward talked about it and said, yeah, we've plugged in Triple Eight setups and we don't know how they're getting their speed. Even though we've got all the data there, we cannot achieve the same lap time. So they have to go down their own path or try lots of different things, which Premier are doing. Premier are just trying everything, throwing everything at it, trying all sorts of different things. Anton De Pasquale said at Ipswich, because there was the main talking point at Ipswich, or one of the main talking points. They were asking him, why is he doing so well? And he was saying, well, we've just been chipping away at it, doing our own thing. And, it's not just that Anton's a new driver. The 2026 conversation doesn't change what's happening in 2025, because that's been in motion since the end of 2024. Anton being signed to Team 18, Andrew Donnelly, the engineer, moving from Brad Jones Racing to Team 18. And so you got two new people, new faces, with this new opportunity for both of them. Andrew Donnelly being with an arguably faster driver and a possibly more competitive outfit, Team 18 versus the Macca Jones car, which is where Andrew Donnelly was for the last couple of years. So it's not just the driver, it's also the engineer. You've got a whole lot of new stuff going on with that number 18 car. I think there's some Erebus parts, Erebus front clips, but like, really, is that doing much? As long as it's looking the same, how much of a difference is that really making? Because Erebus are also a competitive outfit, but they don't have the consistency. They seem to be screwing things up. Whether a driver screws things up or the team screws things up, they have it go wrong quite regularly. Whereas for Anton, they had 3 rounds of hell. They had the first 2 rounds, or 2 rounds until in the first race at Taupo, where things were going great. And then 3 rounds of hell, went to Darwin and started racking up more top 10s from the second race onwards. That car has got the speed. Like, they had speed at Taupo. They had, what is that, a top 10 at Perth, I think. It's really a load of crap that, if you've got a Triple Eight Alliance, then you're just going to be up there. It's just not true. Because Will Brown and Brock Feeney do not have the same driving style and do not have the same ways that they achieve speed. You've got 2 different drivers, the way that they're getting the most out of their drivers and their teams, and Will Brown has been struggling this year. Maybe he's just struggled that bit more with the newer tyre, with the new soft tyre, which is taking up most of the races. But Brock Feeney seems to have really knuckled down and done absolutely everything that he needs to do to win this championship, and that's why he's been up the front. Even the races like a Taupo, he was able to. Was it Brock who was particularly bad at Taupo? Who was able to recover? Will Brown was able to recover quite well at Taupo. Brock actually qualified third in the second race. I'm going to switch everything over while we talk about this for a second. So Brock Feeney started third, dropped to fifth. It's like he started 11th in that first race at Taupo. And look, they weren't that far back. It's not like no, last year they were front runners. This year was the struggle year. And we call it a struggle year, but the worst that either of them qualified was 20th for the big race. And Brock managed to put the car into top 15. He hasn't had a shocking result all year. Whereas Will Brown, he hasn't been particularly shocking either. He just hasn't been as good as. Well, actually, the biggest shock was obviously when Ryan Wood span him last race. Will Brown just hasn't been as good as Brock. That's all. So, yeah. Taupo first race, they only did 1 round for Brock, tried to save tyres, and it cooked them. 1 run. Oh, in qualifying. Yeah, fair enough. A bit like Brody Kostecki at Townsville, right? Welcome back, dude. Tried to save tyres. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can happen, Sometimes, especially if you don't quite have that speed. Is it too close to try that? It is a competitive field at that track. It is a competitive supercars field. I'm not sure what the like, if you drop 5/10, you're just about down the back. So Yeah, you kind of need to have dominant speed like Cam Waters at SMP, Brock at Darwin, stuff like that. And Brock's dominant weekends, shorter tracks, the gap is crazy. Oh, for sure. Um, Now, like what tracks? I think Tassie is definitely one of those tracks where like if you pit early or you pit, it's such a gamble pitting at Tassie. You just need a fast car. That's kind of it. If you do not have a fast car at a track like Tassie, you're screwed. And I think the same thing for Perth. If you do not have a fast car, if you don't get the pit stops right, then you screw up. Um, so I think that's why teams like Matt Stone Racing are able to thrive in that sort of track. Now I think Perth and Tassie are both short tracks, short lap times. Tassie, it's like 56 seconds, something like that for a lap time. Perth, something like that as well. They're very short tracks. It's very close. Like if you are not there, it'll show and it'll be painful. Um, and those are probably two of the most competitive tracks to get it wrong at. I'm not sure about QR. I think QR is a 1 minute 15 or something like that. That's the typical lap time at QR. But it's just QR was one of those tracks if you where there's so many areas where you just might not have that speed, and so there'll be strong gaps across the field, like we saw. So, can't really try the one run at the start of the session gimmick. Those one runs, I don't know why they do it at the start. Like they don't know track evolution is a thing. Like if you're gonna take a risk, take the full risk. Well, usually you just if you're confident, you just don't run the whole 10 minutes. You just go out at the last run. QR was 110. Yeah, honestly, I'm just thinking of V8 Supercars 3 lap times that I was doing. That's all I'm thinking of. I don't know what lap times they're doing in real life. I'm not paying too much attention to that. I just look at the gaps and see how far away everyone is from one another. Um, yeah, yeah. I think my Adelaide lap times were like a 2 minute 13, something like that, and my QR lap times were like a 1 minute 13. So that's pretty. That's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, if you're gonna take a risk, take the full risk. Like if you want to save tires, just decide not to participate. Adelaide 213. Is that right? Is it? Hang on. Is it tooth? Hang on. Hang on. I'll look it up. Adelaide 500 lap times. That's a 119? Or is that a 1 hour 119? No, it's 1 minute 119. Top 10 shootout, the Adelaide 500 last year on the Sunday. Brock Feeney qualified with a 119. Adelaide is 120. Okay, yeah. I don't know, dude. I can't remember off the top of my head what the lap times are. I'm not that technical. I'm not all about those sorts of numbers. I'm about the numbers like this is how many top tens they got in across the season. The lap times change year on year, We got weather conditions, you got tire quality, you've got um what else? Setups, things like that. Yeah. All right. So maybe it was I don't know, within 3 seconds. Yeah. All right. If that's how it works. Yeah, it's not like it's gonna be unless it's a wet race, obviously. If it's a wet race or a wet session, then it's gonna blow out to a couple minutes because everyone's wiggling around all over the track. Yeah. I suppose if it's like a really hot day, like if it's a 40-degree day at Adelaide, that's when you might see particularly slippery conditions just in terms of the rubber and getting grip. Um, because those tires will just overheat so quickly that where it's like 30 seconds on the dry times. Yeah, I think that's about true. Yeah. Um, do we have when was the last wet race at Adelaide? I mean, the problem is like going year on year is we have different kinds of tires as well. Bathurst and the wet is like 2 minutes 30. Yeah, but isn't it like a normal race time? Like they're doing what 2:03s, 2:04s in qualifying in the shootout. Um, and during the race they're doing like 2-minute 10s, 2-minute 6s. That's ordinary lap times for the race, depending on the tire. So like they obviously go slower with the race pace, race times because they don't want to destroy the tires. Because you don't make a gain out of it because if you blow the tires off it in the first 5 laps, everyone else is doing a 20-lap stint, and you pit, you're behind the 8 ball. So yeah, hot and cold, wet and dry. And aero has changed heaps, so it's a bit slower. Yeah, it's less. I think we see it more where we saw back in Gen 2 how hooked cars were across the top. Pole is 205 or 206 now. Yeah. What did Cam Waters do in Gen 2? What was his lap time? Bathurst pole time. Um, Fastest ever Bathurst qualifying lap is 2-minute 03.3 set by Chaz in 2021. Yeah. A low 203 is ridiculous. Yeah. Bathurst pole time 2024. What did Brody do? A 2-minute 5.5. Yeah. So, but also, last year was the first year where, I mean, how different are the Camaros 2023 to 2024 is another thing. Show how insane Scott's time was in 2017. Yeah. Well, he did a 2-minute 3.8, and then Chaz, like, I think Cam did a pretty good one in 2020 as well. His was the fastest pole time, and then Chaz beat it in 21. But in 2017, for sure, Scotty's was an insane time. I think the first that we didn't see anybody knock off Greg Murphy's 2003 lap of the gods in a shootout situation until until I think was it you who said that everybody knocked it off in 2014. Um, and then since then, people were knocking off 206s. And then obviously it just sort of tumbled until 2017, where Scotty's doing a 2-minute 3.8. But yeah, several. Maybe that just tells you a lot more about how Gen 2 and Car of the Future evolved. Is how rapidly the speeds tumbled. But you've also got to remember, yeah, the 2014 track resurfaced, but you've also got tires. Tires are important. So whether they had super softs in 2017, I don't know if they didn't run them at Bathurst, did they? They got a bit worried because there were too many tire blowouts in 2017. 2014 was hard tires. What about 2017? I think they ran the hard tire at Bathurst 2017, didn't they? But if they did a 2-minute 3.8, yeah, because they were running the super soft at tracks that were supposed to be low deck. Yeah, I remember they had a new tire for the start of 2017, but too many tire blowouts. It kept delaminating. Yeah, there was also not just delamination, but wasn't it Rick Kelly? They got but they got rid of it. They didn't they keep it for a bunch of the tracks. They didn't go straight back to the 2016 compound until 2018, did they? But anyway, that's sort of my point, is that we've got tires is a major factor in lap times. If you've got a particularly grippy tire that went back mid-season, probably on safety situation, especially with Bathurst. They went, we don't want a tire blowout going across the top or going down the chase or heading into Griffins. So, yeah, it was a wild season, one of the craziest seasons. I don't think we've had a season of supercars that was anywhere near as crazy as that. Softs of Rick Kelly's tyre just cooked everything. Yeah. I think, was it? I remember Rick Kelly definitely had one, but I know everybody had one at Phillip Island. I think Will Davison, had one. Did Scotty have one, or Fabian had one? The front straight at SMP. I mean, we can look up some clips. See what we can find. Um, 2017 tire blowouts. Supercars. Seeing them just talking about it. Must have been the start of the year or something. I need to tire blowouts, supercars, Phillip Island. But you're saying SMP. SMP. What race would we be looking at to find Rick's? Yeah, the right rear. Yeah, I definitely remember that. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of. What happened to all the actual? Do they not have a highlights reel on their YouTube channel or something? It was 2017. I don't think he had 2016. He wasn't that competitive, but 2017 he was definitely. He was in the Senglade car. The other one I remember of 2017 was when he went straight in the fence at Darwin after qualifying on pole, where he just seemed to have he just had a trick around that place. Where 2015 he got pole, 2016 I think he got pole. Was it 2016? No, 2017 he was just good there in the Nissan. They had some speed in terms of qualifying pace, but they didn't seem to have it in the race, except for when Michael Caruso won at Darwin. They got way too many damn. Oh, here we go. 30 videos for the supercars. Didn't even have any highlights reels. It's ridiculous. Race 17 restart, which is they got no highlights reels or something. Oh. Anyway, but yeah, that 2017 was the year of just tire blowouts. Everything just kept going wrong for him. So, yeah. What else? I've got other things to talk about, I think. I don't think Team 18 are getting the cheat codes. They're just having a pretty normal year for themselves. Then it's not exceptional. Like last year, Frosty got 2 podiums. Anton's got 2 podiums. It's not that far removed from a typical season for Team 18. 7th is normal for them if they had things go their way, and they haven't. They haven't had things go their way, but partially because they've been crap in pits, so they lost a few opportunities at Taupo. And yeah, it was just people blowing things out of the water in terms of, oh, Team 18 are doing really well. They're getting it. They're getting all the Triple Eight setups. They're getting homologation parts, whatever you want to call it. It's just a load of crap. I'm not interested in people saying things that don't actually make any sense. And in terms of like parity with the people saying the Fords um, dumping too much time in the straights, I'm gonna need evidence. I'm gonna need actual evidence, like video clips, and it can't be Waters versus Golding. That can't be the only examples. I want to see Matt Payne, Kai Allen, Will Davison, Brody Kostecki, Will Davis, you know, Cam Waters, Thomas Randall, James Courtney, Aaron Cameron, every single Ford driver struggling in the straights. But I'm not sure we're going to see that because that straight is so important to get things right. If you are not competitive in the straight at Darwin, you really have to be making things up a lot in the whole back section. And everybody was pretty solid in that back section. I don't think anyone was particularly slow apart from Rylan Gray. So, and that's because it was his first Supercars round. Um, but Supercars put out an article talking about how wildly the finals have changed in the last 4 rounds. We've seen two obvious drivers just claw their way up through the field. Obviously Anton's having a great year actually. It just in terms of, I mean, he's out Team 18. He's racked up a couple podiums. He's the sensation of the year. Whether he can back it up in 2026, we don't know. Arguably, they're the top Chev team, and being the homologation team is not all it's cracked up to be. DJR were the homologation team for Ford, still are technically, and they haven't been the top Ford team. It's been Groves, or it's been Tickford, or it's been Walkinshaw. Those teams are better. So homologation responsibilities are not the reason that a team is good. It's just some sort of responsibility that Team 18 seemed to think that they wanted to have because Adrian Burgess wanted it so badly. Um, it's probably a bit of a what do you call it? A bygone idea that like, oh, if you're the factory team, that must mean you're the best team. Well, not true. There's really no significance to having that responsibility. That's why Brad Jones wasn't really that interested in it. Um, there were obviously a couple big carrots hanging in front of Chev teams and Ford teams if they wanted it, of becoming a Toyota team or becoming a homologation team. And the main teams that were in consideration for that were Team 18, Premier Racing, and Brad Jones Racing. And Brad Jones were happy to take the big wad of cash that Toyota were dangling around, and supposedly that's why they're getting Cam Hill. But Cam Hill's bringing a sponsor for the full year. Bryce Forward doesn't even have, like, he has middies on his car for a couple of rounds, but not for. He doesn't have MIDI stickers. He doesn't have like a big MIDI sticker on the bonnet every single race, whereas Cameron Hill brings big Superglass sticker on the back and the side on the sides of the car and on the front of the car. So he brings that to BJR. Then he just has to put He has to put some stickers on the rest of the car, and it's not that bad. Whereas Bryce, it's just not. That's why he's losing that opportunity, because he's not running around with a big bag of cash anymore. So there is obviously a chance that, obviously there's potentially going to be a big bag of cash with no driver. which is Snowy Rivers, if they choose to stay for 2026 with BRT. Um, Now, Snowy Rivers rocked up for James Courtney. He's a big personality. Um, what driver do we see as being good um, for Snowy Rivers? And they probably want some sort of personality. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a trick. If I were them, what would I do? I'd be like, get Rylan Gray. That's what I would do. Rylan Gray's doing such a good job. Put him in the Snowy Rivers car, even though he's a rookie. But it's up to BRT. If Snowy Rivers don't care and they're like, well, yeah, we'll sponsor them for next year, then that's what it's going to be. But yeah, and you think maybe Snowy Rivers might be sticking around because they've sponsored. What round did they sponsor Snowy Rivers? Check Discord. Yeah, stop sharing. Oh, there we go. See, I'll pop up again. That's fine. It just didn't want to share what I was sharing. All right. How's that? Everything all good now? I didn't realize it just didn't want to share whatever I was sharing. I might have accidentally closed something. Don't think I did. Yeah, we're back. We're back. All right. So you sent me the tire trouble in 2017 video. So I'll show Firefox and we'll have a little look-see. Phillip Island? Well, no, Sydney Motorsport Park. Yeah. What's Tanda doing battling Blanchard? Look at all those cars. Oh, probably pit stops or something. Yeah. Whose tyre blowout was it? God, 2017 was atrocious for that. Incredible year in terms of the competition, but you kind of had to be a king of tyre management to be Dale Woods. Oh, bloody hell. Rex, yeah. Yeah, just big chunks just dropped off it. Bloody hell. You would bring everyone into pit lane for it. It's just blown and and the window shredding the car. Bloody hell. Yeah. And that was like 2017, which is one of those crazy years where we just had almost sent him into the wall. Yeah. Those soft tire issues was not what we wanted in the sport, even though it was so competitive at the time in 2017 with the lap times and the cars that were in the mix and everything that was going up and down pit lane. It was there was so much going on. And obviously these days we've got stuff like that. Also, I've had this website I used to watch 08-10 seasons that Supercars hasn't uploaded. What's the website? You're allowed to don't put a link, just tell me what it's called. Well, unless you want to send me a link on Discord. Some random ass language. What is it, like an Argentina website? So I gotta link it to you because I don't know what to call it. Okay, yeah, just link it to me in Discord, and I'll have a look. And if it looks all right to me, then maybe I'll show it. Couldn't even tell me. Yeah, just send it as a link in Discord. Um, yeah, I think it'll be alright to show. It's 08 to 10. I haven't been pinged for it, so but I mean, we just want like highlights packages really, but I don't know how much because I don't even know how much. Like you got like 2010, yeah, supercars highlights. Yeah, they've got like quite a few highlights, Tassie and Sandown, but these are all like ones that people made. Oh wow, that is like a. Oh, it's Russian. That's what it is. It's a Russian video website where they've copied supercars whole races. That's Bathurst. It's 2017 Queensland. No, that's not. That's 2018 Queensland. Those are entire races. That's cool. Thanks for that. Evening sport. Yeah, I might. Yeah, full races. There is. Yeah, it'd be good if they actually did put up. You just search the season and the round you want. All right. So if I looked up, um, like 2010 Adelaide 500 or something. How do you even search things on this thing on Russian YouTube? This is a weird website. Cause actually, you know what? I need to get a translate thing. So, so you do Supercars 2010 1 or 2023. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to search on this website because it's got. Because I think this is just. Is this all the same channel? Evening Sport. What I need to do is I need to get a translator, and I'm probably not gonna like to search for Adelaide 2010 Supercars 2010 3. Yeah, but it hasn't got like a search button. I'll show it. I'll show it. Like, obviously, you got all the text in Russian, and you got this plus button, which is probably for like watching it later or something. Then you got the three dots, and I don't know. It doesn't seem to want to show me things. Is that Murph there? I think it is. He's just look. Oh no, this is a Super Utes race. Uh, you got to make an account. Okay, such VK videos. Right. VK videos. Yeah. All right. Looks like it's taking me to the homepage. Yeah, it's literally like Russian YouTube. It's a straight rip. That's funny as. It's Russian YouTube because they banned YouTube in Russia. That's why. All right. It sent me a link. Yeah, so is that all of 2008? Yeah, that looks like it's like all of 2008. So there's are those the last 12 races of Oran Park? Or is that all? No, that's all sorts of stuff. Well, yeah, that's like all of 2008. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll have to dive deeper into it. What else? What else can we talk about? I got Yeah, I'll look at all that stuff at another time. But so we were talking about 2017 and tire stuff. It was such a unique year. Um, but I had something. No, didn't have some. Shouldn't have sent that on stream. Are you gonna get in trouble? Are the Russians gonna come for you? Are the Americans gonna come for you? People are gonna find out about it. I think people know about it. I don't think it's supercars will flag it now. We all have nothing. I don't think supercars make a whole lot of money out of old races that they haven't posted because they don't take down old races that people have posted on YouTube. They don't post 2025 full round broadcasts on YouTube. They're a lot dumber than we think. They certainly seem to be. What's the attitude? Like IndyCar, Scott McLaughlin's Locked In show. They show actual it's just his car, what it's doing. We get to see everything that's going on. It's him driving around, whatever's going on track, and it's great to watch the Locked In show. He doesn't he can't show the broadcast, but he can show his car and his car's on car camera. We could do stuff like that with supercars. That'd be great. I would love to see an equivalent of Locked In with Anton De Pasquale's car, and they're trying to do it with Shotgun on the Supercars app. But I've got the app and I've got Supercars Plus. I don't think our contracts allow that. Well, because yeah, well, maybe that's it. Maybe Supercars broadcast contracts are so exclusive that everything that comes out of a camera, that is a Supercars camera, is exclusive to Supercars. So on YouTube, there's people that upload the shotgun thing. Really? Okay. Because I tried to use it at Ipswich for during qualifying. Put it on Anton's car when he was in the pits, and it froze immediately on me. Seen Brock Feeney last 30 laps of Bathurst on board. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, was that good? Because, I mean, how close were they in 2024 Bathurst? They were like 5 or 6 seconds off, something like that. They were pretty close. They were like 2 seconds off. It was close, but Brock just wasn't. He was closing the gap, and then they pitted, and then Erebus made an adjustment on Brodie and Todd's car, and then Brodie and Todd started pulling away. So that would have been interesting to watch. Like, oh, we're getting closer. And then they pit, and then it's like, oh no, they're pulling away. Never mind. We're going to come second today. What a bunch of poopy pants. They're just taking stuff down. It's no fun. It's no fun. We don't want supercars being bully boys. Did I have something else that I wanted to talk about? I'll check my list. I wanted to correct a few things about the chassis because I talked about chassis last time. And so I'm going to go back and just reconfirm things. Supercars Gen 3 chassis. The main thing was I thought that BRT had actually debuted James Courtney's Erebus chassis, but they didn't. They're actually doing well with their own with their own cars that they built from Pace Innovations. So that was an interesting thing I found out. And then I also found out I thought the Team 18 built their own chassis from like Pace Innovations tubing, but they're not a manufacturer, so they got Pace chassis and then bolted the parts on. Just like Tickford, just like DJR, just like everyone did. So I'm gonna show. I'm gonna go through things. No, WAU manufacture their own chassis. So Ryan Wood, Chaz Mostert. With photos of the first year that chassis debuted. So Ryan Wood's and Nick Percat's car. It's not a car issue; it's a driver issue, apparently. I'm still like Ryan Wood's obviously that good because he's got a new engineer this year in Richard Harris. Last year he had Adam Austin, who was with Nick Percat, and they did a good job. And then Adam Austin, I don't know if he left or if he just got replaced or moved somewhere else. And so he might be involved in the Toyota project. And so Richard Harris is Ryan Wood's engineer, and they're going great still because Ryan Wood's just that good. Chaz in the same chassis. Well, technically debuted a new chassis this year, but then they're turning it into a Toyota. And Triple Eight were going to have a chassis for Will Brown, and I think there's all sorts of talk about what's going on with that. I'm not sure if it's going to happen at all. And Tickford, they use Pace Innovations chassis. DJR previously used Pace Innovation chassis. I rewatched a big chunk of the Ryan Story interview on Apex Hunters, and he said that they had Pace Innovation chassis from 2012 through to 2025, obviously, which I thought was interesting because they actually, this is going to send me on a wild tangent talking about DJR, but that's what we're here for. We're here for wild tangents to talk about nitty-gritty supercar subjects. So there's no way they make a new car for only like 4 events left. AAA, yeah, but you just carry it on into the next year. If you were AAA. Oh, I suppose, yeah, I suppose you're right. But you just take all the Chev bits off, chuck them somewhere else, sell them, and bolt the Ford bits on because the chassis are all the same. It's not like you have a Ford chassis and a Chev chassis. You have clips for or components to make the Ford parts attached to the chassis, and the Chev parts attached to the chassis because that's where they're talking about. The Toyota is getting specific Toyota parts so that the parts will attach to the car, which is interesting because when Brad Jones are talking about getting Toyota or specific bits, they haven't got the parts. Yeah, but they're weird. They only do new cars just before the 500 or the start of the year. Who, Triple Eight or BJR? There are a few teams that do stuff like that. Yeah, Triple Eight. All right. Well, for shits and giggles, I do have a lovely Craig Lowndes PowerPoint presentation talking about every chassis that Craig Lowndes raced to the end of his career. Each actual car that he drove, with excellent chassis numbers as well. So, Enduros in, was it 90, 94, 95? That's the one that got on the podium. Is that 90? Some of these cars, they debuted 1992 as a VP Commodore. Is probably the car driven to the second by Lowndes and Brad Jones at Bathurst. The 1994 car that was debuted by HRT was driven by Peter Brock. That's a very confusing sentence that I've just put there. I'm very sorry about how terrible that sounds. Then the 1995 car that Lowndes and Murph drove. That was a brand new car apparently in 95. Then 96. We don't know if that was a brand new car, what the story is with that. I'm sure there was a great V8 Sleuth article. And this particular chassis is the one that. Now I think there's a lot more to that Greg Murphy chassis there. I think that was the exotic chassis was destroyed. I think that's the one that Paul Morris had that got caught up in the fireball at Oran Park. VT Commodore tested by Murph at Calder Park round 98, possibly handed to Lowndes to complete the season. Gee, a lot of unknowns here, but see, this is a great article that V8 so should have done, every chassis. But anyway, we go to AAA. So we look at so brand new car in 05, brand new car in 06, brand new car in 07, brand new car in 08, brand new car in 09, and then another brand new car in 09, possibly just before the Enduros, as you say. Brand new car in 2010, and then another brand new car in 2010. But then he also raced that car in 2010, 2011, 2012, and won Bathurst in 2010 with that car with Mark Scaife. Man, brand new car 2013, brand new car 2014, and possibly 2015. So they started getting a bit tight at some stage. So I think these days cars are carrying over a bit more. People aren't usually debuting new cars unless there's some money in it or an advantage to be gained in it. But AAA do like to have some sort of new supercar project going on, like they did in 24. They had one going on, and then they got money. Yeah, they just like to have a spare going on, spare at the ready in case somebody sticks it in the fence. They've got money because they're a championship winning team, not because they have money. So, but yeah, I'm not. Some of these are a bit confusing. What else? Yeah, this one's a bit interesting. So, Lowndes drove it in 2001, which is actually a Stone Brothers 1999 car. I think what happened to the 1998? No, hang on, I might be confusing things. Because I think Stephen Ellery bought a Stone Brothers car in 98 or something like that. And they built I don't know, very, very confusing. And a long time ago as well. And Lowndes was getting a Gibson car being built, and that car was not very good. But then I've got ones about the definition of rags to riches. Yeah. And people say like, oh, Roland Dane's rich, that's why they're winning races. But it's been proven time and again that you can't just rock up with a big bag of cash and start winning races. You have to build a team. And AAA, it took them a few years to become that great team. They lost the championship in 05, lost the championship in 06, lost the championship in 07, and then finally got it locked in 08 and started. By the time I got to 2008, then they were the benchmark team. Because Walkinshaw had shit the bed. Then picking Whincup is a masterstroke never seen. Oh, you would not have chosen Whincup. It was just like and Roland Dane said, he said he was looking at Will Davison and Jamie Whincup and saying, whoever jumps the highest, the fastest, is the guy we want. Everyone's like, what the hell is he doing? Yeah, well Whincup did obviously had a crappy 03, 04. I think they were actually the top Perkins car. Winterbottom said he was going to AAA. Yeah, Yeah. And I think didn't and Whincup was going to FPR. Yeah, which is interesting. It'll be good to see what Roland Dane has to say about that because and maybe I don't think is Roland Dane too high and mighty to say that um he was going to sign someone else, but then something else happened, so we got Whincup, and then he turned out really good, or is he just sort of, or is that just making them sound bad, and so they say, no, this is the guy we wanted, because that's the fairy tale story, right? Is he went from not being a very good driver, V8 supercars, scrap heap and all, to getting on the podium at Bathurst, more Ford Australia placing people. Yeah. Um. So what? 05 to 06. Frosty was still at Ford, but Whincup was the first one that went from Holden to Ford. It wasn't much of a coup because he came like 15th in the championship or 14th in the championship. No, it must have been 15th because I think Radistich came 14th. So Whincup came 15th in the championship for Tasman, which is it's an okay job for that team. And they signed him purely for Bathurst, but they didn't sign him as a co-driver. They signed him as a main driver, probably because Whincup was like, well, I could just stay at Tasman, so he wanted the full-time drive. So they didn't think he was going to be the main dog. Yeah, they would have thought that Lowndes would have still been championship material in by the time they got to 2007, but he wasn't. Well, Lowndes wasn't terrible in 07, but he definitely started getting beaten. He was still Lowndes was still their top guy. Yeah, he was the reliable one. Whincup started getting good late in the season. He started shining a bit, and was after Bathurst he started doing better than Lowndes. Lowndes was still better in 07, even though Whincup beat Lowndes. Yeah, and Lowndes had his most consistent year yet. He had like 93% top 10 finishes. Whincup didn't have that. Whincup didn't get a pole position until like 2007. Lowndes, and obviously the people were expecting Lowndes to back it up in 07. It's just that championship was so competitive between HSV and Triple A. And then, then 2008 is like, why is Whincup the guy? Lowndes faded. He faded. He was relying on natural talent. Whincup was working hard. 15 race wins. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Lowndes. Yeah. By the time he gets to 2008, then Lowndes had his best years were behind him. Whincup only had 5 race wins before Bathurst. Before Bathurst in 07? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at 2007. We'll show 2008. Okay. Well, okay, yeah. So we'll have a look. So we've got 2007 here, and then we'll have a look at 2008, as you said. Yeah, 1, 2. That's 5 race wins that he got in 2007. Jamie Whincup. Whereas even Lowndes wasn't having a great year. That's 6 race wins. Like, they were not doing well in 2007. The top team was obviously HSV. They were smashing everyone. But I think, Triple Eight started really switching it on. Whincups, we stopped getting good from Winton onwards, getting that front running pace. And Lowndes started turning it on from Darwin onwards, but not great for round points. He was well down the order. Rick Kelly's season fell out from underneath him at Oran Park. Is that Oran Park? Looks like Queensland was pretty shit for him too. So, yeah, I'm still showing it. All right. You also got like guys like Scapey who are having good rounds. Some of these people popping up, but it's all about the consistency. If you don't have that consistency, you're gonna have a bad time. But oh wait, Whincup came out and he was like, "I've got one job to do, but one thing I want, I have the team to deliver me the best race car." And because Walkinshaw were playing funny buggers with all their teams and wrecks and drivers and engineers, plopping things in all eggs in one basket at HRT and Garth Tander, they had one driver in '08. That's what they had. Rick Kelly doing an insane job here. Adelaide just racking up top tens. You get to Sandown, and he would have been, well, he might have been just about to get overtaken by Lowndes here because Lowndes was just having a better time, much just beating him more often. But even then, it looks like he must have been a lot closer there. But Rick was such a consistent guy. That's why he won the championship in 2006. Not just consistent, but also lucky in '06. Garth, I don't know what the hell happened in Adelaide, but yeah, Whincup was just the guy to beat. Winterbottom was having a really good run there. Winterbottom must have had the championship lead. Was it Whincup or... No, Winterbottom must have had the championship lead after Barbagallo. Because look at that. Like, if Whincup missed out on that whole round, watching his championship fall out from underneath him, was he the leader then? Yes, he was. He must have been the leader because that's top fives in the first 5 races and nobody else got that all in a row. Rick wasn't close enough. He would have been like second or third. Whincup lost it to Tander, I think, there after Hamilton. And then after Perth, Winterbottom had it. And then Whincup just clawing it back there. And then just after Bathurst, he's a machine. Racking up massive race wins. It's just... And it's why I don't like people criticizing Whincup and saying things like it's the team. The team are just giving him the best car, or they... It's like, well, you've got a guy who's just a raw talent like Craig Lowndes. He's just the sort of guy who just can jump in a race car and just rag the thing, and he doesn't care how many wheels it's got on it. He's still going to drag it up where it deserves to be, or where he can. He's just like that. Age is just a number. Craig Lowndes is just a ferocious talent, but he was not able to stitch together a championship or qualify as well as he should have been qualifying. I should eventually. I've got. I think I've got some of my Richo stats, but yeah. HSV funding in 2008 had to be asked. Yeah, well, that's what happened with the Scafie 2.0 stuff. Is they just took all the funding, like the Toll HSV dealer team. First of all, you got Autobahn on one of the cars, so it's not a Toll HSV dealer team for both cars. They just had Toll on Rick's car, and they had all these odd sponsors on the car as well. Like they had No Fear, and they had OP, whatever the hell that thing was called. But Rick was just not able to rack up podiums like he should have been. They obviously chucked everything at 2008 HRT, but the greatest mistake they did was, and it's such a mistake. Like if you got 4 cars, make them all have a chance. Lowndes only beat Whincup head to head in championship twice in 13 years. In the 13 years that they were teammates, so 06, and 2015. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, 2006 is obvious, but 2015, that was the one where, I mean, I think you know that season a lot better than I do, where Whincup was just having issues, and bad qualifying sessions and stuff like that, where he was just not having a great time with it. But then the back end of the year, he was a beast. He was racking up wins, but he was that far down down the championship that he had it all to play for, and so he was like too far down in the championship. Yeah, he got bad luck. Yeah, um, that's that was his season. 2015 was the one he lost. Snake bit him in the preseason. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that was going downhill from there. But he could have had an SVG season, couldn't he? He could have just rocked up and started winning. Who won the first few races of 15? That was a mixed one, right? Did Whincup win at Adelaide? Because I know Courtney won. Yeah, Whincup, Courtney, Coulthard, and then just fucking not having a great time for a lot of these races. Just a mid-season where he hadn't had a podium in several rounds. Goes to SMP, has some raw race pace. Shit going wrong at Sandown, Bathurst, Gold Coast. And then he's just a machine on the podium every single race in the last 3 rounds, clawing up those. Like nobody else had that good a run all year. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 podiums in a row. Nobody else had that. Not Frosty, not Chaz, not Lowndes. No one. When Whincup was on, everybody sucked. That was what he was like. We could even look at like 2021 if we want, but I'm pretty sure we can probably agree that 2021 was the first year where he was like, yeah, he's not going to be battling too hard for the championship if SVG is going to be this amazingly good. Yeah, he hasn't got it going for him there. But even to be fair, SVG didn't have that strong a time. He did win. He did get 7 podiums in a row there, but that was the most that anyone got there. No one was having that good a time apart from SVG with that first run there. So yeah. I'm sorry I wasn't showing that stuff. Because you're watching the season at Bahrain, some random guy from Bahrain in the car. He was shocking. Oh, and the Team Kiwi car, right? What was his name? Like Fahad Al Masalam. Yeah, some Bahraini prince probably. Just some rich Bahraini guy. The Chevrolet Supercars Middle East Championship. I think I found this by accident. This is like Middle East V8 Supercars. Apparently, it was promotional to get on the sport. That's what's crazy about supercars back in the day. I mean, it's good. Like, aren't we gonna? They're trying to get Austin Hill in supercars at Adelaide. That'll get some Americans watching it. I watched stage 1 of Portland Xfinity just because Jack Perkins said he had a chance at the podium. So I was like, all right, I'll watch that. This day and age could never happen. Some rando in the car, yeah, probably not gonna happen. Yeah. It has to be somebody legit these days who's actually done the time just for promotional reasons. Yeah. You're not gonna see like Jack Rewalt driving for Dick Johnson Racing in one race. That'd be funny as. Um so this is the Middle Eastern V8 Supercars Championship. I think I found another one that's like the South African V8 Supercars Championship. So this is our guy. 2007, 2008. Middle East V8 Supercars Championship. He's the winner, this guy, Fahad Al Salam. Um, he won it in 09 and 10. But what was it? So no championship was held in 08, 09. The most successful drivers 2 titles. Due to the vehicles being similar, due to the vehicle's similarity to V8 supercars, Al Muslim and Raid Raffi earned tests with Gary Rogers and Paul Morris. Al Muslim going on to race for Team Kiwi at the Bahrain 400. Just a funny little thing. They launched in 2005 in an attempt to establish a domestic racing scene in the Middle East. Vehicles were improved production versions of Commodore VZs rebadged as Chevy Luminas, utilizing Chevy V8 engines with a 4-speed gearbox. And they introduced a class structure where the VE Commodore was introduced as a top class and the VZ was the second class. And the VE ones had 50 horsepower better. That's crazy. And they had a couple of different tracks. Bahrain, Dubai in 07 and 08. Is it like a single race thing? What is it? What is it? Supercarsme.com. Look at this. I did find there was like something that was like the South African V8 Supercars Championship. Yeah, it's just like funny little things that you can find on this stuff. What is this? Oh, no, didn't work. Oh, there's the Wayback Machine for you. Oh, yeah, Austin Cindric. I was thinking Austin Hill. No, Austin Cindric. He comes over, he'll regret it so bad. It'd be funny. Cindric's in the fence. Cindric's in the fence. At turn 8. Like a better series they could, but not a random. You can only do a wild card if you're doing it for a team that's dominating or the best. Like the Xbox Wildcard 2013 did so good because AAA they know how to do it properly. He'll be a second off the pace. Yep. Just no one can be a top guy if you haven't got the mileage on you. The ass at road courses he gets in the supercar. My God. Austin Cindric. Yeah, well, we know why he's in the sport. He's daddy's boy, gets a ride. He's like Macaulay Jones. Actually, Macca Jones is better. That's making Macca Jones sound bad. Has Austin Cindric even won a race in Xfinity? Austin Cindric. I know he's full time. Of course, he is in the Cup Series. Driving for Penske, of course he is. Yeah. Has he won a race? What's fun is, I mean, he has won races, but everybody's won races. He's actually quite good at Xfinity. Like, Austin Cindric is actually kind of good. And now, what ones are? Well, we got Chicago, right? Oh, that's 2021 that he was good at Xfinity. Goes into Cup Series. Won a race. Is that his? That's not his first Cup race, but it's his first full time. His first Cup race as a full timer. Won at Daytona. Was it 2023? Was Chicago? Chicago. What was the track called? What would the abbreviation be? Wasn't it early in the year? I don't even know what the actual race would have been called. Atlanta. Circuit of the Americas, right? Richmond, Bristol, Talladega, Dover, Kansas. What the hell's that one? Darlington, Charlotte, some other thing, Sonoma, Nashville. All right, this is Chicago. He came third at Chicago in the first year, CSC. 15th and 24. We look, he's doing all right. Cindric is a good driver. Macca is ass. At least Macca Jones is definitely the best Jones since Brad Jones. He's not better than what Brad Jones was. He won Talladega this year. Did he really? He did too. Yeah. Yeah, he's not shocking at all. It's not like he's just Andrew Jones. Well, that was beyond ass. That was nepotism. Andrew Jones definitely survived a lot longer than he should have. He came like he was worse than Winkup. Andrew Jones V8 Supercars racing driver. Because the thing is that he got the gig at Gary Rogers because he won the championship. Crashed everything. Trash on trash on trash. I mean, he wasn't that bad. He did get caught up in crashes. He just wasn't that good. He was one of those guys who they said he got the seat at Tasman because what they did was they went into a shootout. They had Nathan Pretty, Andrew Jones, and someone else in 2005 to see who was going to get the seat at Tasman. And Andrew Jones was the one who was willing to rag the thing, put in the fastest lap time, and that's why he got the seat at Tasman. So, like Gary Rogers, he was just qualifying badly and racing badly. He was nowhere all season. He came 20. Well, I mean, he obviously came 28th in the championship in 2005 because he didn't finish the year. It's not going to show the. It's not really going to show the results there, but he's barely cracking the top 20, and he should be because his teammate was cracking the top 10 all the time. He was just not able to get a lap time done. What happened there in those races? Shanghai, Hidden Valley. Yeah, well, Shanghai had a high attrition rate. That first race at Hidden Valley, looks like there's a big crash. Bunch of cars crashed out. No 5 in that first race. That's why he got a top 20. And he managed to not shit the bed at Sandown and Bathurst. Bathurst, they got top 4, but look, they kind of just survived. Bathurst 05, a lot of cars got wiped out in that crash between Greg Murphy and Marcus Ambrose. So, yeah. So how many top 20s is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're not going to count Sandown and Bathurst. But if we go to 06, he starts clocking up some top 20s. You got Adelaide, where obviously quite a few key contenders fell out, but I don't know what his qualifying position was, but 15th is pretty good. Got quite a few top 15, top 20 positions there. Where the thing is about, like, I've watched quite a bit of 06. He was just nowhere. It's not like he was being impressive. It's not like he was out qualifying JR. He was regularly qualifying down the back when JR was up the front. But, obviously JR was a great talent, very fast driver. Andrew Jones was not, but he was definitely looks like, and just in terms of results in 06, he was a lot better than he was in 05. 07, you can excuse it because BJR Falcon was a dog. It was a piece of rubbish. He finished 46th or 48th or something atrocious. 44th in the championship. That was the BJR car. Brad quit mid-season. He'd had enough. I think that was just after he had that crash with Paul Morris. Was that the one? Yeah, Paul Morris. So many damn DNFs in 07. Simon Wills jumps in the car. Where is he? Simon Wills. And does a respectable job with the car. Starts beating Andrew Jones. So this fat guy jumps in Brad Jones' car and starts beating Andrew Jones pretty regularly. Because that's what Simon Wills said. He said he was not prepared. He was like, yeah, I'll do Brad a favour and I'll jump in and, I'll just do him a favour. And we'll finish this season for him. And then in 08, they signed Cameron McConville, put him. So Andrew Jones and Cameron McConville were teammates at Gary Rogers and they're teammates at Brad Jones. So they had a pretty decent car in 08 because they had a Walkinshaw car. Not too shocking. Not devastatingly shocking. You could excuse someone like Tony D'Alberto for just not having the machinery. But like Tony D'Alberto was obviously a talented driver who did not quite have who just didn't have the machinery. Andrew Jones, you could argue, did have the machinery. Because you've got a guy like Cameron McConville. He's only a few positions up in some races, but he's also miles ahead of Andy Jones. But I don't think it's fair to say that he was like the worst Supercars driver ever. Who would have to say? Okay. In terms of worst full-time Supercars driver ever, I'm too soft on him. How can you do it? It was 07, 2007 point system. He's not the worst ever, no. But he is definitely down there. He's down there. But you'd have to go Van Gisbergen, bear him. Or beat him in a TKR car. In 07. It's in a TKR car. It was a Stone Brothers car. Stone Brothers Falcon. Now hang on. Was it? Or was it the FPR car? He started in round 8. Okay. We go back. But okay, first of all, the BJR car was a dog. That's the important bit. Now who was driving in 2007 at I think Radisich drove it at the start of the year for Team Kiwi Racing. We find it. Where is the rat? Where are you, rat? God damn it, man. There he is. Yeah, so the rat drove. Am I showing stuff? No, I'm not. God damn it. Then they beefed and they did a deal with SBR. Yeah, he was driving the FPR car that they bought. SVG got the drive because they did the deal with SBR. Yeah, they had some good stuff going on with that car. Brad Jones, their cars were rubbish in 2008, in 2007. When they were racing them so competitive, they were racing for sheep stations, trying to win the championship in 25th place. That's the sort of the results that they were having. They were not getting top 15s. That's why both cars were down in the 40s. But it's the 2007 point system. The top 15 got points. Brad Jones were not going to get top 15s. Then you've got Shane Wills 43rd. Had a couple of stellar results at the end of the year. Right, 43rd there. We have a look at what sort of results. Like the Rat was getting some top 15s, quite a few top 15s in that FPR car. Who did the first round? Adam Macro. So 18th, 16th. And let's say Adam Macro did a shit job that weekend. Then they chuck somebody else in. Who else drove? Did they just not have a car for a couple rounds? No, they must have had something. Where is it? SVG did not name that. 021 John McIntyre. Did they miss a few rounds? I think. Didn't Team Kiwi. Did they take some penalties in 07? They're missing a couple there. They didn't race at Eastern Creek and they didn't race at Darwin. And they didn't race at QR either. So I think Team Kiwi took some penalties because you're not allowed to just skip rounds. And they eventually debuted SVG at Oran Park. They must have been ready to pull the pin and not do the championship at all. But yeah, the Team Kiwi car was not that bad. They did actually have competitive machinery, proven by having, first of all, Paul Radicic, great driver, and Adam Macro. Let's just say he had a crap round. First of all, 18th and 16th. There was plenty of other cars that were slower in 07. Like the Perkins cars were slow as hell. PWR cars were slow as hell. And the Brad Jones cars were slow as hell. So those are some cars that you should expect to be beating. And so 18 and 16, not a terrible job. So yeah, that's my argument. Then you've got Paul Cruikshank. First of all, that the car that John Bowe had in 2007 at Paul Cruikshank Racing, that thing was a dog. In 06, Marcus Marshall drove that thing. They had issues all the time. It was okay. It was an okay car. It wasn't going to be setting the world on fire. They kept having issues with it. 2007, John Bowe comes across. Somebody sweet talked him. And he comes in and he starts making that thing look better than it is. 2008, they get a Triple Eight car and Fabian Coulthard, and then they start having a good time. So, like, there's a lot going on in 2007. Just to say that Andrew Jones was getting beaten by a Team Kiwi car, that's just not true. That's not what it's about. I forgot to show the stuff. God damn it. Radicic was taking them to court. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Because he was supposed to be given some sort of car thing. They came back at Oran Park, missed 3 rounds. They would have had to pay a penalty. And then 08 was their last season with Kane Scott. He dragged his career on longer than it should have been. All right. John Bowe, driving for Brad Jones Racing, which is not a top tier team. The mistake he admitted he made a mistake. He should never have left. 2009 was TKR's last season. Full season? Didn't Dean Fiore do 2009 and the Team Kiwi car? Who drove in 2009? Team Kiwi Racing. Oh, yeah, they did the first 2 rounds, TKR. And that was it. No more TKR. They quit after the second round. Yeah. He didn't do too badly there. And then he got his own car and then he was having a crap time because he had a crap car. So made Triple F Racing, yeah. But I think, yeah. Then TKR got sued. John, what was John going? What was his damn name? John something. Team Kiwi Racing. David John. Yeah, so they were having a crap time from like 2006 onwards. TKR was scratching to stay together. There's quite a bit of nostalgia about that team, because it's the original New Zealand team supercars. They brought Jason Richards. They had the black car with the silver fern. They weren't really top. They weren't really big contenders until 2000. I mean, they got the crazy Winton wet pole with Craig Baird. And they had the occasional result with Jason Richards and Craig Baird. When they got Radisich and got the deal with Paul Morris and had a good car, then they were doing really well in 2005. 2006, they were doing even better, and they crashed at Bathurst and destroyed the car, destroyed the rat, went broke, and started borrowing shitloads of money. Yeah, rough time. So it's amazing that it lasted as long as they did, really. And I think were TKR another one of those teams that were trying to invest in facilities to run everything out of New Zealand as well. I think that was happening as well. But yeah, John Bow definitely didn't. He didn't drag his career on too long. He just drove for shit teams at the end of his career. Made him look worse than he was. Not that Brad Jones is the worst team. They had a dog box. So their cars got worse and worse from like 2004 onwards. As John Bow said, the AAA raised the standards of engineering and Brad Jones Racing couldn't keep up. 06 they weren't great. I mean 05 they weren't great. 06 they were worse. 07. 07 he moved to Paul Cruikshank Racing. He got sweet talked again. Obviously he's just a nice guy. He just likes if somebody tells him that there's gold on the other side of the rainbow, he's going to go over the other side of the rainbow. That's John Bow. He's a great guy. We love him. He made mistakes, but he won championships. He won Bathursts. I wouldn't. Yeah, sometimes it's like it was the car for John Bow. John Bow was doing a great job with what he had for a long time. Yeah. The worst supercars driver of all time. Maybe we'll do that next time or something. Because where could he stay for it to not go downhill? Dick Johnson Racing. He left at the end of 98, going to PAE Motorsport, and then that turned into Briggs Motor, or got bought by Briggs Motorsport, and then he got sacked by Briggs, moved to Brad Jones, where they expanded to 2 cars. So he had like 3 good years at BJR, where top 10s were what was available, and Bathurst podiums. Back then, Brad Jones was a great team to be at if you wanted to have a go at winning Bathurst. 2005, they started to drop off. They just didn't have the machinery to do the job. But John Bow said he never should have left Dick Johnson Racing because in 1998, he was winning races. He was just one of the best guys. So those are the facts for you, indeed. If he was at that team, why did he leave? He was sweet talked. PAE said, "Oh, we're gonna do all these things for you. We're gonna make your dreams come true." He'd already achieved his dreams, but I don't know what he was hoping for. But 10 years before retirement, yeah. Well, I don't know. There's got to be like a John Bow book, right? Surely V8 Sleuth have done a John Bow book. I'm gonna Google it. John Bow racing driver. There has to be, because I know I've seen like V8 Sleuth interviews. Racing driver book. Driven, the John Bow story. Oh, it's coming out soon. See, okay, instead of just putting my money into random crap, I should be putting money aside to invest in these incredible John Bow stories. I'm going to show this. 0506, he'd be a back of the midfield driver. Yeah. 0506, let's have a look. 05. Show the stuff. Mabini. 05. John Bow. Where are we? 18th. Look at that. Top 15s. Racking up top 15s like an animal. Bad race. Top 15s. Bad race. Bad race. Bad race. 9th. 21st at Bathurst. I think they just had a shit time. But yeah, definitely after Bathurst, they did not have a car to do the job. 2006, they were racing for sheep stations to try and come 18th. Yeah, they did not have a car to do the job at all. Brad Jones wasn't doing a whole lot better either. And, people might say, oh, they're too old. But as long as they're out qualifying and out racing younger guys, age is just a number. Yeah, 05, 06, it started to get worse. So, but yeah, John Bow book coming out later this year, I guess. Available to pre-order. Early December 2025. God damn. Like see, this is a book that I would love to have this one. First of all, you got the DJ years. You've got he drove for Volvo in 1986 with when they won the championship with Robbie Franchovic. This guy had a beard his entire career. He looked exactly the same from 1986 through to 2007. And he was just like that. And obviously touring car masters champion. But Brad Jones, PCR, this book is gonna do so much for us. Like we're gonna learn so much. I think there's also a Jim Richards book, stuff like that. A lot of great stuff to read about. And moving to touring cars with Volvo. Yeah, this will be a great book to get. It's the first book published on Bow, who was inducted into the Australian Motorsport Hall of Fame in 2018, and is set to sell quickly. Oh fuck yeah! John Bow is just one of those guys. Who Astron Tech? That's the sponsor, right? Astron Tech is his sponsor, I think. So, 0506 he'd be a back of the midfield driver simply because of age, and the new crop coming through is getting too good. Also, hot take, those legends are back in the day would get washed by the late 2000s drivers. Yeah. Lowndes came in and started dominating because Supercars drivers were chilling mid-race. Over race is to do a lap 4 or 5 seconds slower than race pace, and it's just because they're not focused. Yeah. Yeah, I guess like the younger guys coming through were a lot more fast and furious. They were a lot more like, oh, we're gonna win the win cups and win a bottom's got good machinery. Yeah, exactly. Put talented guys, real talents in things that those guys are the guys to beat. Pretty much from 1994 onwards. You've got your Craig Lowndes, you've got, and even Scafie. I mean, Scafie was one of those because he was one of those first young guys to come in. You got Mark Scaife and Glenn Seaton coming through. Those guys were the great young guys coming through. Unfortunately for Cito, he ran his own show. He wasn't a professional driver, except for in 1987. Mixed speed, focus, and talent for SVG started putting belt to ass. Yeah, Scotty Mac too. And Chaz Mostert as well. We do have those incredible talents coming through. Who have we got these days? Brody Kostecki, Brock Feeney. These guys, they rock up and they make it look like 2006, because I haven't finished watching the 2006 championship yet. They have reverse grid races, and you go, oh, the reverse grid races cause all these crashes, but you watch and you go, no, these drivers are just not that good. And that's why, because they just keep getting it's all the good guys crashing into one another. It's just they're like, "Oh, why are they braking so early?" And then just bang into one another. Like a lot of dumb driving. Yeah. Um, that's what it was like back then. So these days it's that good. Oh, that's right. There was a screenshot I took this week. Somebody pissed me off. Um, I took a screenshot because someone was talking shit. They were saying, do I have it? The ones that aren't memes. All right. All right. Reverse grid. Reverse grid race pole could be 2 seconds a lap slower than the race one winner. Yeah. Yeah. When you see Marcus Marshall on pole or something like that, or the Tasman cars up the front, and Andrew Jones will just immediately drop several. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but he definitely would get eaten up quite easily. Luckily, he didn't just bash into everyone, but yeah, the Brytech cars, the Paul Cruikshank car, what else? The Brad Jones cars, they weren't good when even a reverse grid, they just dropped. Even in 2008, you watch when there's no reverse grid. Yeah, and you'd be like, there's people just banging into one another, winner bottom, finish 22nd, finish race 2 top 5. Because he's just that good, he just carves his way up through the field. Really 2008 he did that. 22nd and then 5th. Where's... I don't know where you're looking for that, but your car cannot be that much faster than everyone else because he stayed out longer than them. Bahrain race 2 in 2008. Yeah, 21st in the first race and 4th in the second race. Yeah. There must have been some penalties there or something. If you said one number difference, maybe that's not accurate, or maybe something happened later on. Yeah. What did he just legitimately? I mean, fresh rubber is a big deal. Like we saw in Gen 2, SVG used to just like last a long time. Look after the tires, and just pit so much later than everyone else. So I remember at the bend, Team 18 would stay out longer. SVG would stay out longer. SVG would pit, come out like 5th, stayed out longer, than the safety car came out, and like 7th or 8th after the safety car. Fair enough, yeah. Then carved his way to 4th. Yeah, safety cars save races. Safety cars save days. People complain about the virtual safety car saying, but like that's been a strategy forever, right? The virtual safety car neutralizes the field because it doesn't back everyone up. But even a normal safety car will do it for you if because they have to slow down. Everyone has to slow down. Remember Cam Waters at Townsville? Was it 2021? Speaking of what? F1 is on. Oh, that's right, the Dutch Grand Prix. Is like the race is actually on. That'd be good to watch. I might want to stop talking about supercars and watch the F1. Is it actually on? Is it started at 11? Says it's 10:36 on my clock. What time does it say on my phone? It's 10:36 on my phone. So, oh, you're in Sydney. Okay, yep. fair enough. That'd be half-hour difference, yeah. Alright. Yeah, the time difference, exactly, yeah. It's like half-hour difference to Melbourne, so it's probably pretty similar to Sydney, with the time zones. Um, do we wanna call it a day and you can go watch, Dutch Grand Prix and chill and have a better time next time? Do you wanna do that? Yeah, you're gonna head off, watch the race? No worries, dude. Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming and having a great chat about supercars. Yeah, and, we'll catch you next week. Alright. See you, dude. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, thanks for coming.